Hello, Mr. Min. My name is Lynn and welcome to chapter 14 from Proof 4. So I'll be the person who will present to you the learning objective 1 type of consumer decision. So consumer decision is the process that when consumer evaluating the attribute of product, brands or service, and so then selecting the one which can solve their need for the least cost. So select this not because of an attribute, price, style, functional characteristic, but sometimes just because feeling or situation, like in this situation they feel they like it or their friend's recommendation. That's why we need to understand about this types of decision making to maybe make right marketing strategy. So first thing we need to understand about purchase involvement. This is the level of concern for or interest in the purchase of each product. This is process triggered by the need to consider a particular purchase, and this is totally different from product involvement. The first, we have many types of decision making, which is increased from low involvement purchase to high involvement purchase. The first one is nominal decision making. This is a problem that when you problem recognition, information search, purchase and post purchase. This is maybe usually happen when you buy some favorite brand. You buy something like your habito. You consumer do not really consider about their alternative thing, and they just decide to purchase as quickly as possible. The evaluation process is don't usually happen until this product cannot just adapt their expectation anymore. People don't even consider not replacing or purchasing another brand, and this can be broken into two categories. The first category is brand loyal decision. This is the result of extensive decision-making process before, like the first time that you want to buy soft drink for your family, you consider a lot about alternative price, so you choose about one brand. This is Sasa, maybe. So you believe that this is maybe adapt your overall need. You commit it and form an emotional attachment to it. It's like you like it, and then you have high degree of product involvement. That's why you have low degree of purchase involvement after that you do not really interest in or consider when you decided to buy another top brand product for your family in the next time. The next one is repeat purchase decision. This is when people consumer believe that all product are about the same and not attack but important to product category or purchase. Like toothpaste, you just think that well, many kinds of toothpaste just like the same. So this is not really different when you choose to buy some brand, you just want to buy the cheapest or something like this. This is a repeat purchase but not committed. Sometimes you can change just because you think that old brand is just still boring and you just change, but limited decision making process. The next one is limited decision making. This is involve internal and limited external research. When you have few alternative, simple decision rules on a few attribute and little post-purchase evaluation. This is involve recognizing a problem for which there are several possible solutions. That when you just want to buy the cheapest kinds of soft drink and sachet can adapt your need, but some can adapt your need. But someday when Coca-Cola is decreased their price maybe lower than sachet, then you just think that maybe this sachet Coca-Cola is not that bad, so you try to change. Or sometimes it just happen in some situation like you go to another play and you just want to try a new thing, or you feel really boring with old brand and just want to try a new thing. This it just happen when you recognize appearance of possible solution. And the last one, extended decision making. This is extensive internal and external information searched by complex evaluation of multiple alternatives and significant post-purchase evaluation. This is high level of purchase involvement usually happen when you need to consider to buy some expensive product and important product like a house. a computer, a phone, something like this. And we will consider deeply about in this chapter 14.
Hello, my name is Nguyen, and me and Tien Anh will present the second LO, which is the process of problem recognition. So we recognize these problems every single day, like how we see that our car is running out of gas or our hands needed a manicure. So by definition in the book, recognition is the result of a discrepancy between a desired state and an actual state that is sufficient to arouse and also activate the decision process. So, what is actually the desired state and the actual state? So, the actual state is the perceived feelings at the present time of a consumer, and the desired state is the desired feeling and state of being at the present time. So, both the desired state and the actual state are influenced by the consumer's lifestyle and their current situation. So, on the right here, I have shown you the problem recognition process. So if there is a discrepancy between the desired and the actual state, there will be a problem recognition, as you can see here with my mouse, and vice versa. If there is no discrepancy, there will be no action, no action, so that there is satisfaction. So the consumer will decide what action to be done in by two factors. It is how big the difference between the desired versus the actual state and how important the problem is. So this is the end of my part, and now Tiếng Anh will proceed with his.
So thank you, Chu. And now is my presentation. I will introduce for you about the type of the consumer problem learning objective 2. So let's begin. First, we will go to the tab of consumer problem. Everyone knows the meaning of adjective and inactive problem is first. Active problem is a list of the health issues that affect the individual current functioning and all health issues are potentially requiring monitoring. And next is inactive problem is a condition where consumer have not yet really realizes the needs and problem of the product they consume. And we will go to the example of active and inactive problem. This an active problem is that of which he is aware of or will become aware of, and on the other hand, an inactive problem is one of which he is not aware of. And what is the difference between active and inactive problem marketing? In marketing, that in an active problem, company only convey a consumer that they have problem, and brand marketers are the most powerful solution to the problem.
We're going to talk about uncontrollable determinant of problem recognition. So we have to say that decisive and actual say. And decisive is something like culture, social class, reference, individual development, and actual say is like product, brand performance, individual development, student, or something like that. And in the decide state is like is symbolize the desire to be recognized as a unique person with distinctive behavior between the West and Asia customer because of the cultural influence. And about individual development, cause many change in design and also say also for example have if you achieve what you want, of course you will want more than that. And some marketing rules based on the design say or actual say to make consumer recognize the problem. And we will talk about that in the next.
And finally, I will discuss about the role of consumer problems and problem recognition in marketing strategy. Every consumer has different problems, and before marketing managers can respond to those problems, which are generated by outside factors, they must be able to identify consumer problems. Four main factors to look into here. First is what problems do consumers have, how to respond to these consumer problems, helping consumers recognize these problems, and do they want to suppress the problems or clear them right away, solving them. When discovering consumer problems, there are a wide variety of approaches that are used to determine the problems which the consumers face. First is the intuition, which is the most common. However, the accuracy is not as good. Next is doing marketing research. You can do it online and on social media. This one is the more popular nowadays. And finally, survey and focus groups. Survey and focus groups use one of the following approaches to problem identification. First is product and activity analysis, which breaks down into first activity analysis. Activity analysis focus on determining what problems consumers encounter during the performance of a particular activity and develop products solving those problems. For example, when you're new to cooking, you don't notice that much timing when you cook your food. So the food will easy to get burned. So marketers develop a countdown timer, a kitchen countdown timer as seen in this photo here. Next is product analysis, which examines the purchase or use of a particular product or brand. Consumers may be asked about problems that are associated with using a product or brand itself. For example, this survey right here, the survey is asking for a satisfaction rating of coffee body polish from a Cocoon. There are a few other approaches stemming from surveys and focus groups. Problem analysis, which starts with a problem and asks which activities, products, or brands are associated with those problems. There is human factor research, which determines human capabilities in vision, strength, response time, flexibility, and fatigue when interacting with these products. And finally, emotional research, which marketers are increasingly researching this for the role of emotions in problem recognition and resolution. There are observational techniques such as slow motion and time-lapse photography, video recording, and event recorders are particularly useful methods to observe the interaction between the consumer and the product. Because of these process of realizing and finding customer problems and solving them, companies and businesses often have customer service departments to deal with these issues, which is so common nowadays. The second step is responding to consumer problems. Once a consumer problem is identified, the manager may structure the strategy or their marketing mix to solve these problems. This can involve developing a new product or modifying an existing one to better cope. They can change the channels of distribution. They can also fix the pricing or advertising strategy. The third step is to help consumers recognize their problems. There are basics and also a few extra approaches to this. The two most basic is generic and selective. Generic involves an inconsistency that a variety of brands within a product category can reduce. For example, if you're craving for a cup of coffee, there are tons of different kinds of coffee shops all around your city or your block to solve your generic problems. And selective, which involves an inconsistency only one brand can solve. So it is more compact. You're looking for more details in your needs or your problems that only a selective few brands and products can solve your problem. A few extra ways is activating problem recognition. Marketers focus on your desired state, pointing out the issues in the consumer's current state and make consumers aware of problems that they will have before the problem occurs. For example, if you're having problems with your teeth, marketers will advise you to buy or getting dental braces. Your desired state is to have perfect teeth, and there are issues with your current state of teeth. And if you don't buy or consult with a dentist to get dental braces, your dental problems will increase over time if you don't do anything. And finally, the timing of problem recognition. Consumers often recognize these problems at times when purchasing a solution is difficult or impossible. So they just want to wait till sometimes that they feel like they have to solve it right now, and it's getting more difficult because previously they didn't do anything. And finally, is to suppress the problems. Many marketing efforts attempt to influence the desired states that I've said earlier. And marketers often advertise that the benefits of their products will provide, hoping that these benefits will become expected. Ultimately, to suppress or reduce consumer problems. Managers may attempt to minimize or suppress problems. It's rare to solve them completely, 100%. But like I said before, they will utilize their current users and their current products and try to modify to solve those consumer problems. And that is the end of this chapter. Thank you for listening.
Hello, Mr. Minh, me again, and welcome to chapter 15, Information Search, presented by Group 4. This chapter is just include 2 learning objectives, about 2 and 6. The first one is type of information search. We have three types of information source that affect consumer decision. The first one is appropriate evaluated criteria for the solution of a problem. The second one is the existence of various alternative solutions. And the last one is the performance level of characteristic of each alternative solution on each evaluated criterion. So first one is evaluative criteria. Like, for example, you want to buy a new phone. I want to buy a new phone. This is my present to achieve good score at school. Then I have to do many internal and external research to answer the question that's what features do I want in a phone. So the feature or characteristic that's required to meet my need is called evaluated criteria. This is maybe a battery, a camera, or an app store. This kind of features is the result of internal and external research. This is some attribute that I think that is really important with my product. So what marketers do is try to attract consumer into find down or affect to some attribute that they think that's maybe important. Maybe they can use a marketing campaign to make people believe that this attribute is really important with a phone, like camera, like app store, a storage of the phone, and this is what marketers have to do.
My name is Uyen, and me and Tien Anh will going to present chapter 15 LO6, which is marketing strategies based on information and search patterns. So some marketing techniques consider the nature of the target market information search prior to the purchase. So the 2 dimensions of the search are the type of decision influence the level of search, and also the nature evoked set influence the direction of the search. So these 2 dimensions suggested a 6 marketing tactics. I will be covering first maintenance strategy. So maintenance strategy is applied when the target market buys a brand on a regular basis. The marketer strategy is to keep that behavior going by maintaining stock and quality, and also having a reinforcement strategy, reinforcement advertising strategy, and and also the marketers need to defend against the disruptive tactics of the competitors by maintaining product development and improvement. This can be done through coupons, point of sales, point of purchase display, and also rebates. So for example, we buy eggs on a regular basis. So one of the most popular brand of eggs in Vietnam is Ba Huong. So Ba Huong is usually using this maintenance strategy where they maintaining stock and quality, and also we can see their banners and advertising. So for disruptive strategy, it is used when the brand is not a part of the evoke set and the target markets engage in nominal decision making. The marketer's first task is to disrupt this existing decision patterns. By in the long run, they could have a major product improvement accompanied by attention attracting advertising, while in the short run they can do attention attracting advertising aimed specifically at breaking the habitual decision making process. For capture strategy, if the consumer engage in limited search like in point of purchase or in readily available media prior to purchase, the marketer of the brand needs to know where they search and what information they are looking for. By supplying the information often on price and availability on their websites, mobile apps, displays, and also on adequate shelf space. So Tiếng Anh will proceed with the three other strategies.
So thank you, Chu Minh Uyen. I will introduce for you about the intercraft strategy. So everyone knows that if the target market engage in limited decision making and the brand is not part of the advocate set, the objective will be to intercept the consumer during the search for information on the brand in the advocate set or during general search for related information. So we need to remember two things that play considerable emphasis on attracting the consumer attention, and the second, product improvement and a free sample. And about the preference strategies, the extended decision making with the brand in the advocate says requires preference strategies. We have two things to need to remember: that strong position on throw attribute important to the target market, and the second is independent growth be encouraged to the test the brand, and the sales personnel should be provided detailed information on the brand attribute. And the next is the acceptance strategies. About the acceptance strategies is similar to the preferences strategies. However, target market is not seeking information about the brand. Therefore, in addition to the activity involved in the preference strategies, we have lead to attract the consumer attention or otherwise motivate them to learn about the brand. So thank you for listening. Don't hesitate to ask any question.